How are you guys doing today? That hello is supposed to sound like hello because it's from Lionel Richie's hello, you know, but it's getting more and more derailed and more high-pitched and strange, and I don't even know what's happening anymore. Anyway, my name is Anima, and today we have a post-commentated Pokemon ORAS Wi-Fi battle for you all, this time against Azunyan, a very mystical and important sounding name indeed. Your Twitter link will be in the description down below, folks, so if you enjoy this match, if you enjoy Azunyan's performance, do go and check them out. There will be a question of the day at the end of the video. Can we get this video to an almighty 100 likes? Is that even possible, ladies and gentlemen? Let me know. Make your decisions at the end of the video after watching, of course, or you could be a total rebel and like it right now. Anyway, this is a match that takes place in the UU tier. I know what you're thinking. My opponent has brought not a fully UU team, but it is a potent team, and that Mega Sharpedo enjoys me. Look at the Mega Sharpedo and look at everybody. It pretty much has a move to OHKO everybody after rocks, but thankfully my opponent doesn't seem to have a rock setter. Wait, no, it's a Mesprit. With that being said, folks, let's hit play and you will see precisely what I saw. So, Azunyan is issuing that challenge. I decided to lead with my scarfed Mienshao Sly, who can U-turn out on any god-given thing on this earth, but my opponent does lead with their Ambipom. I don't mind. I'm a regenerated Pokemon. I can take any hit from this thing, fake out, whatever. I don't even care. It's totally fine. And I outspeed. So, realizing this and knowing that they have the Life Orb, which we don't know at this point, but we can pretty much guess because that's what Ambipom usually carries, they're going to switch out into Floor just to speed up the process and prevent any Life Orb recoil. So, my opponent does actually switch out into the Ordino. I doubled out into my Amoonguss actually because I knew that Florges was not going to stay in on a Doublade, so I go into Jeff. I actually expected the Lantern to come in on the predicted Iron Head to quad resist it, but no, we're up to the standoff with Ordino and Jeff. But no, this is a pretty stupid fight actually, because he's going to go for the knockoff, and I'm going to lose my Black Sludge, and my Pokeball looking Mushroom badass is going to get encored into Toxic, and this is actually okay because I can sit here and camp while the Ordino just gets Toxi-stalled to utter death. So out ensues this ridiculous stalling match. He's going to go for the T-Wave, and we are paralyzed, which means every now and then Jeff is going to mess up. But it's okay, you know, we try to give some understanding to Jeff. Jeff, who in his old age doesn't quite do as well as he probably should, and his hands are so circular, it must be really hard to pick up objects in general. But the Ordino's just going to keep going for knockoff, realizing that I am locked into Toxic thanks to their Encore, and I'm going to be Toxicking anything that comes in. So my opponent's only real option is to eventually switch into Florges, who I believe carries Aromatherapy at this point. So my opponent is going to go for that Hyper Voice. It's not going to do much because Jeff can take pretty much anything. This is actually the correctly EV'd Jeff. I didn't have the correct amount of special defense investments. I had a weird offensive Jeff, and now we have the right Jeff, which is really, really nice. So my opponent is going to go into their Florges, and that pretty much tells me exactly what I suspected, that this thing has Aromatherapy. Because looking at Florges and looking at his team, the Ordino could have Heal Bell, but it's more likely that it has that the Florges has the Aromatherapy, because the Ordino did not reel its bell of healing, didn't tinkle any bells at me, this strange looking creature, but I do like it. It looks like pudding. I really want to eat it. So yes, as expected, the Florges does go for the Aromatherapy, and this time I actually did go for the Iron Head, but unfortunately my opponent does make the switch I expected the first time, going into the Lantern to quad resist. This Lantern is a surprising pain in the ass. I'm not really sure what it is. I think it might even be Assault Vest, as you're going to see by how it takes hits later on. So he's going to go for the Volt Switch, and Jeff is going to eat that up because Jeff is just a fucking monster, and we do resist that, in fact. So he's going to switch out and go into the Mesprit. Mesprits are pretty evil, and I don't want to take a Zen Headbutt, so I do decide to go into Sid, who can take anything this thing does, but my opponent is going to go for the U-turn and switch out. So getting a lot of momentum right now with the Volt Switch and the U-turn. So we need to start punishing these switches something awful. So my opponent is going to go into the Ambipom. I'm actually completely fine with this. My opponent has got a very defensive team and does not want to bring out the Sharpedo until we are all sufficiently weakened. So the Ambipom is going to go for the Fake Out, lose some HP due to Life Orb, but Sid is going to take that because Sid is a fucking badass. And we're going to be completely content with that, really. But yeah, there's the knockoff, and we're going to lose our lefties, which does suck. But I really wanted to stay in here because I wanted to put up my Stealth Rock so bad and start punishing these bloody switches switches because it was really becoming a nightmare. But this might not have been a particularly good decision on my behalf right there and then because of that Sharpedo. I even said to myself at the beginning of this match, I need to keep my my dear friend Sid at good condition to be able to take on the Sharpedo, because a strong jaw boosted crunch nobody's going to appreciate. So I go into Jungle Gym, my choice banded max attack Rhyperior. Normally I do run a defensive Jungle Gym, but this time I just wanted to try out that beastly 140 something attack that Jungle Gym has. So I predict the Mesprit coming in who expects the Earthquake, so I went for the Stone Edge. That does pretty much one-shot the Mesprit, which is extremely nice. We get rid of a Turner and a potential Rock Setter, which is so good. So I do not want to take a Scald. Even with a solid Rock, I will die at the range of HP I'm at. And so yeah, my opponent is going to actually go for the Ice Beam, which was the best play they could have made, because this will do super effective damage to Jungle Gym as well as do a damage to my dear friend Amoongus. But because this is the correct Jeff, we are going to take that very well. It doesn't do much damage because I don't really know what kind of thing this Lantern is. I think it might be specially defensive plus Assault Vest, or have some specially defensive investment, specially offensive investment, but I'm not really sure. Either way, Jeff is going to be squaring off against this pudding. Oh, pudding! I call all Audinos pudding. They just look like pudding to me. I don't know what it is. They just look really edible. They look really edible. I don't think you understand. So yeah, we're gonna go into Jungle Gym expecting the next Hyper Voice that actually does a surprising chunk of damage, all things considered. But I don't have any special defense investment, so it does kind of make sense, sorta. So my opponent is gonna go for the knockoff and reveal my choice band as I go for the Earthquake. This actually does help them out ultimately, because after this EQ, I mean, I don't know if I can take my opponent out with this next, with another EQ, so I'm going to just stay in and go for the Hammer Arm, which is going to guarantee take it out, which is really nice. I wasn't actually expecting my opponent to stay in, but I think they were wanting to risk living the Earthquake, and I was hoping they'd do that, so I went for the Hammer Arms. That's pretty damn nice. So out comes this thing. I cannot use Jungle Gym for any other purpose because I can't really outspeed anything else, and we are going to die to a crunch. So this thing now. This was the moment where I looked at Sharpedo, looked at my team and went, oh shit. Oh, actual shit. So my opponent is going to go for the Protect, a wise decision to get their speed up as well as scout for what I am going to do. Because if I went for the high jump kick, well, then that would have been quite the doozy. And I do actually have high jump kick on this Mienshao. So it's going to Mega Evolve and go for the Waterfall. And I was like, please don't flinch me. If I got flinched here, or died actually, that would have been really bad. So I'm going to go for the U-turn. I'm actually going to pull it off. Sly hanging on with like 17 HP or something bloody ridiculous. And we're going to do that essential bit of damage to the Sharpedo. And I was really content with this. I felt pretty much safe from this point on. So I just went for Shadow Sneak. I'm just trying to spam Shadow Sneak to make sure this thing dies. I did not expect my opponent to switch out, to be honest. But no, they did. They actually did. I could have predicted that, but I did not want to take a crunch potentially. So I didn't want my Dubé to get crunched to death, because I would probably die or at least hang on with just like 10 HP, and I can't have that. So I'm gonna go for the Sacred Sword on the Amber Palm, as it unfortunately knocks off my Eeviola. I thought this was kind of okay because I can still kind of take a Moonblast from the Florges. I do need to preserve Kiara for the Florges, because that thing late game can be a real pain in the ass, because it will survive! It will survive us all. So Jeff is going to come out now on the Ice Beam. Now I switched up because I didn't want to take a Scald, so my opponent is consistently going for Ice Beam, which is actually kind of a problem. Jeff can't, like, you know, can't take these forever, especially if I get Parahaxed. So there's the third Ice Beam on Jeff's little squishy Poco Depression. We're going to go for the Giga Drain and just try and sort of whittle this Lantern away. Right now my opponent has the Lantern, Florges, and that 1 HP Sharpedo remaining. So it's a bit annoying that we couldn't take down the Sharpedo because my opponent has valuable Death Fodder now. Unfortunately, he does get a critical hit, so I am actually forced to switch out Jeff, and I go into Sid. Just to get a clean switch out, because I know Sid can't really, you know, we're not gonna... Whoa, what the hell? Ignore me! Sid lived! Sidward! So we do just go for the Earthquake at this point, and the Sharpedo is gonna come out and die. Valuable Death Fodder. I do believe it is a good idea, ladies and gentlemen, to integrate Death Foddering into your playstyle, because it does get you safe switches out, to and fro, and all that stuff. Out comes Baby Flo. And she's just going to go for the Moonblast. At my current range of HP, I am not going to be able to take that. But at least my opponent did lose their valuable death fodder, I suppose. So I'm going to go into Kiara right now. I did expect the wish, so I'm going to go for the SD. Yeah, which is pretty damn nice. This is actually a Doublade with the wrong nature because I bred it off my Aegislash, so it does have a brave nature, not an adamant one, which is very sad. And I choked here. I should have gone for the Iron Head, but I got greedy and went for the Swords Dance. I really shouldn't have done that. I should have gone for the Iron Head because this thing, I wouldn't be forced to go for Shadow Sneak, and I mean, powerful as it is at +4, it's still not, really bad play. Really bad play by my behalf. I was just tired from dealing with all the bulky Pokemon. And yeah, my Kiara is going to go down, which is really sad. Named after the Bonobo song, Kiara, which I suggest you listen to, by the way. It's a very good song. So, I'm going to go into my Moongus. My opponent is going to get scared out into the Lantern. As I actually do believe I went for the Toxic here. Yes, I did. Great. So, we do have this Lantern on a timer. This son of a bitch can't keep on going out and coming in and all that stuff. And at this point, I'm actually just like, Jesus Christ. Okay, no, there is a legitimate means to lose right now, so I need to kind of be a little bit smart, maybe. So I switch in Daedra. I know I can take an Ice Beam, don't look at me like that. Yeah, regardless of what I said earlier, I do choke again. I went for the Flamethrower instead of the Dark Pulse. I just felt like he might want to switch out, but why would he do that? Because he's poisoned and all that stuff. That was a very bad play on my behalf. I should have just gone for the Dark Pulse. We could have got a bit more damage on the Florges and so on. We should have, or at least had some death fodder to Bunny Hop, my regenerator, with Jeff. So that was a very bad play on my behalf, I can't tell you. I do go into Sly. This is because I thought that he still had a friggin' item. This was a bad play again, honestly. This is pretty much just a showcase in why you should concentrate all the way to the end. You really should concentrate all the way to the end. I'm fully aware this is not a good decision. So I actually went for the knockoff because I thought my opponent might have had lefties. But of course, the Citrus Berry went off. And realizing this extremely belatedly, I do go into Jeff. But yeah, so my opponent is going to go for the Protect to guarantee themselves the wish. Doesn't matter because I do get paralyzed, and it's just honestly very sad. So here's the Moonblast. This is the correct Jeff, so we're going to eat that up, and it's beautiful. And at this point, I was like, Jesus, I need to make the right decision right now. So I went for the Toxic, and this was to pressure my opponent between Wish and Moonblast and Aromatherapy. I wanted to pressure them between these three moves so I could get more chances to break through Para and go for Sludge Bombs. This actually was the best play I could have made because my opponent is pretty much stuck in this pattern of trying to go for wishes, trying to, you know, yeah, trying to preserve themselves, and that them going for Moonblast earlier instead of going for Wish, that pretty much actually cost them the game. So that was a very good game. Thank you so much, Azunyan, for the challenge. That was essentially an exercise in why you should concentrate all the way to the end, ladies and gentlemen. If I had clicked on the wrong move just then against that Florges, if Jeff had got fully parried and we didn't get the Toxic off, we could have been in a hairy situation indeed, or at least a much more stally one. I do believe my opponent could have pulled through had they made the correct decisions, but goodness gracious me, I gave them a lot of breathing room with all the choking I was doing. Not good. I do play better than that usually, I promise. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. Today's question of the day is, do you read? What is the best book you've read recently, or the most recent book that you've read? We're saying recent and book a lot in a short concentration of time. It's kind of infuriating me, actually. Yeah, for me personally, I haven't actually touched a book, you know. Like, I haven't properly sat down and read a book for a while. I pretty much just read stuff like fan fiction or scary stories on No Sleep on the Reddits. Because my girlfriend is into those, and they're actually pretty scary. They're pretty good. They get in your head. The best ones do, anyway. But when I did read, I can't remember. I read on holiday. I will read like 3 whole books on holiday. I'm a fast reader. But typically now, yeah, no, I do pretty much just read like fan fiction and stuff. Yeah. It's just easy to get into, you know? It's just really easy. And there are some really talented writers out there. Or I read like comics. But you're going to get people who are like, that's not a book. And it's still in a book format, you know? Still in a book format. But the last comic book that I read was called Blankets, and it was by Craig Thompson. I suggest you go and read his material. That guy is massively talented. It is a really, really good read. So, anyway, yes, folks, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Don't forget to smash that like button for me. I do appreciate you guys sharing my stuff. It's the only way I can grow. Anyway, thank you once again. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.